Happy Thursday, everyone. This is Sheila from Grace UMC Arlington, and today we have
Pamela Pinkerton Whitley.
Hello, Pamela.
Hey, Sheila.
Thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Sheila.
Thank you. Okay, so Sunday, the pastor spoke about the series we're in, which is When It Doesn't Add Up. Okay, and he spoke his. What he talked about was test when it's not enough. Okay.
Definitely.
Yes. And also he read from John, the 6th chapter, starting at verse 5. So, and we're all familiar with that passage.
Yes, the little boy and the loaves and the fish.
Yes, absolutely. Which the test when it's not enough. Okay, we were talking about 5,000 people. Okay, 2 fish.
2 fish, not enough.
And 5 loaves of bread. How did that happen? Exactly.
Not enough.
Tell me what spoke to you that day.
So there are actually 2 things. The first one was the first thing that came to my mind was when Jesus told everybody to sit down. Because, you know, sometimes when you're in a place where it's not enough, you start to get a little crazy and things start to, you know, people are starting to run around and they're, you know, just a little anxious. And so for me, when he just told everybody to sit down, for me, that was a moment where, okay, you can't hear me if you're running around crazy. So sit down, calm down so that you can hear what it is that I'm saying. And then the second thing that spoke to me was the question of where. Like when Jesus asked the disciple, where? I was thinking about times in my life when I need to ask myself, where? Like, where do I need to go? Where is it that I can find whatever it is that I need? Because he asked the disciples, you know, where can you get enough food? And my answer would be, I don't know, but I need to start thinking more into the where outside of the box. Like, where is it that I can go? Or what is it that I can do? So those things kind of spoke out to me.
Right. So basically it was more than enough because there were baskets where people were putting the leftovers, okay? And we wonder, you know, how does that happen? You know, when was a time when you thought you didn't have enough?
Oh, there's plenty.
And it happened.
There were plenty, and it's funny because my kids say the same thing because I was a single parent growing up. And sometimes, you know, you look at your checkbook and it's not enough, and you look at your cabinets and you're thinking it's not enough. But when you think about when it doesn't add up and when you step away from what you see versus what God can do with what you have. And so there were plenty of those moments when it was like, I don't know how I'm going to get to the end of the month or how we going to do this. And as my kids have gotten older, they've even mentioned, Mom, you know, there was always something. And, you know, we think that there's not enough.
Right.
Because we're seeing something different than what other people see. Exactly. And so when the people were sitting out there with this little boy with these 2 loaves of fish, the 2 fish and the loaves of bread, what they're seeing, like, it's kind of, I recall, like what I saw was not enough.
Right, exactly. You kind of been there. And it just doesn't add up. I'm going to tell you about this one time where, you know, I was thinking this morning because I was thinking about this series, a time when it didn't add up, you know, when it wasn't enough. I remember when, you know, when my husband and we separated and I had this child, you know, he's about 2 years old. And, you know, you have the daycare and you have rent and the insurance and, you know, car payment, all of this, right? And I didn't have enough. I looked at my money and like, I can't stay in this apartment, okay? So I moved to another apartment and it was $100 less. So fast forward to 4 years later, okay, when I didn't have enough then, I was able, on my own, to buy a house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
like
to God be the glory.
absolutely.
You're talking $100
Absolutely.
difference in buying a house.
And I wanted to make sure that I didn't depend on child support because sometimes, my ex-husband, with his position, it moved him to different locations. And then sometimes when they made a change on a radio station, he was out of the job. So I didn't want to depend on child support. It's like, this is my salary. So, let me see if I can do this.
It's almost like when we have those moments, like you're thinking, I'm looking at this piece of paper where God just says, you know what, just sit down a minute. Stop looking at what you see and start, looking at what I see, like seeing with his eyes, because we can spend so much time trying to add up on paper and balling it up and throwing it away and balling it up because it just doesn't look right for us. And that can be any situation. For me, not only just a money situation, but it could just be me. Like, do I have enough love, like to move through whatever a situation might be? Do I have enough patience to move through? Because what I'm seeing and what I'm adding up is like, I done gave you this many times, my patience was extended to you this many times. It ain't adding up, I don't know if but so you have to learn to see it God's way.
Exactly. Because it's not about money all the time. Like the pastor said, he said, God's grace is sufficient. Okay, we have grace, we have faith. Thank God for grace.
Yes.
We have to keep our eyes on God. God will make it through.
He will.
For us. And you wonder, oh Lord, I thought it wasn't enough. Okay, look where I am now.
You ever had those moments when you reached in a coat pocket? When you were down and out and you didn't have enough and you happened to put on a jacket and a bill was in the jacket that you forgot was in the jacket. You was like, where did this come from, right?
Exactly.
And what made me even put on that jacket? Because, and for me, those are like God moments. Like, I'm running around thinking I don't have enough.
Right.
And, I'm getting ready to go take my little pennies or whatever it is I'm going to take. And then I reach in and I'm like, where did this come from?
Find money in the car, looking for coins.
Because things just don't add up.
Exactly.
They just really don't add up.
He would make a way. And then also, the pastor stated that it's not about the money.
No.
I mean, because you can have money and will not be happy. You think about all of the celebrities. They are... commit suicide, have all the money in the world. Not happy.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
No, not
Absolutely
enough.
not.
Enough.
So you think about that, and he said, our nest egg is in heaven.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We definitely have to remember that. And to be thankful for what we have.
Yes. I think for me, that was probably the most impactful thing that I need to take forward is being thankful in those moments when I'm feeling, it's not enough. And I admit I can complain. I'm not going to tell any stories while I'm sitting here. I can complain about stuff because what I see is just not adding up. In my mind, I might not complain out loud, but in my mind, I'm complaining, as I'm sure a lot of us do complain in our minds. We might not say it out loud, but we playing things over and over again because we're like, when is enough enough? And so I need to turn that complaining around to thanking God that I'm able to even be in a situation where I am, or I'm able to do what I can do where I am, and just be thankful for that. And I think when we look at situations in a thankful manner versus our complaining manner, I think, when we're thankful, that stuff just goes away. Because when you're thinking about God, stuff goes away for me. It goes away.
You have to maintain that focus. Like, okay, Lord, it doesn't seem like it's enough. It doesn't seem like I'm going to get through it. And we just have to remember that He will bring us through it. And God's grace is sufficient.
It is. It is.
He will make a way. And we have to just have faith.
Breathe.
Just remember,
sit down.
Right. That's right. And just have faith. So I would like to say thank you. Have a great rest of your week. And always remember to
experience grace.